What really happened behind the headlines? Did a major K-pop agency actually seize a family home? Or is this another viral claim collapsing under scrutiny? Why are fans questioning the narrative, and what facts can actually be verified? Let's separate rumor from reality before jumping to conclusions. Number 3. No verified seizure record. Danielle. The biggest problem with the viral claim that ADOR seized the house of Danielle's mother is simple. There is no verified public evidence supporting it. As of the latest widely reported developments surrounding the legal dispute between ADOR and members of NewJeans, coverage has focused almost entirely on contract disputes, injunction filings, management conflict, and the escalating fallout involving former ADOR CEO Minji. Major outlets covering the case, including Korean business media, entertainment press, and international K-pop publications, have reported on court hearings, branding issues, advertising disputes, and member activities, but no credible report has confirmed a property seizure involving Danielle's family. That matters because in South Korea, property seizure or provisional attachment is not a small procedural footnote. If a corporation were to legally move against private real estate tied to a celebrity family in a case this high profile, it would almost certainly generate immediate legal reporting, court document analysis, and intense public backlash. Instead, what spread online appears to be a classic case of rumor amplification. In K-pop fandom culture, legal news often gets compressed into simplified and highly emotional claims. A filing becomes bankruptcy, a dispute becomes betrayal, a contract injunction turns into career destruction. The more dramatic the wording, the faster it spreads. And when a member like Danielle Marsh is involved, one of the most internationally recognized faces in NewJeans, the emotional reaction becomes even stronger. Danielle was born in Australia, built a major fan base through her bright public image and multilingual appeal, and became central to NewJeans' explosive rise after debuting in 2022. So any headline linking her family to legal punishment instantly grabs attention. But attention is not evidence. This distinction is crucial. Viral content often benefits from emotional certainty. ADOR did this is more clickable than unverified legal speculation circulates online. But responsible reporting requires something less exciting and more important: documents, statements, or reputable confirmation. Without those, the claim remains unsupported. That doesn't mean the broader ADOR versus NewJeans conflict is minor. The legal war itself is very real and has already shaken one of K-pop's most commercially successful fourth-generation groups. But turning an already messy corporate conflict into unsupported claims about family asset seizure distorts what is actually happening. In highly charged entertainment scandals, misinformation thrives in the gap between public curiosity and incomplete facts. And this case is a textbook example. The headline is explosive, the proof still missing. And if the first fact doesn't survive basic verification, what else in the story starts falling apart? Number 2, legal reality versus viral narrative, Danielle. In South Korea's legal system, a company like ADOR cannot simply seize private property without a clearly documented legal pathway, and that pathway is neither fast nor invisible. Property seizure, often referred to as provisional attachment or enforcement, requires a creditor-debtor relationship, a recognized financial claim, and court approval backed by evidence. In the ongoing dispute involving NewJeans and their agency, what has actually been reported revolves around exclusive contract validity, management authority, and injunction filings, not debt enforcement against family members. That distinction is critical. The members, including Danielle Marsh, are contracted artists, not independent corporate entities being sued for unpaid obligations tied to personal property. Even in cases where agencies pursue financial damages against artists, legal actions are directed at the contracting individual or entity, not automatically extended to relatives like parents. For a parent's home to become a legal target, there would need to be direct legal linkage, such as co-signed liabilities, asset transfers under dispute, or proven attempts to shield assets, which would again be documented and reported due to the scale of public interest in this case. None of those elements have been verified in credible coverage so far. Instead, what has been publicly documented is a complex and escalating conflict involving former ADOR CEO Minji and parent company HYBE Corporation, including allegations, counterclaims, and competing narratives about control and creative direction. These are corporate governance and contract law issues, not asset seizure cases. The gap between those two legal categories is massive, yet online that gap often collapses. A court filing becomes interpreted as punishment. A dispute becomes framed as retaliation. And when translated across languages, summarized in short-form content, and stripped of legal nuance, the story mutates into something far more dramatic than the documented reality. This is where critical reading becomes essential. Legal systems operate on paperwork, timelines, and verifiable claims, not viral headlines. And in a case involving globally recognized artists, every major legal step leaves a paper trail that journalists follow closely. The absence of such reporting is not a minor detail, it's a signal. It tells you that the viral claim has outpaced the verified facts. The story may feel real because it spreads fast and hits emotional triggers, but legal reality moves differently, slow, documented, and traceable, and right now that trail leads to contract battles, not confiscated homes. So if the legal framework itself doesn't support the claim, the question becomes unavoidable. Who benefits from the story being believed? Number 1. How misinformation spreads. Fast Danielle. The claim that ADOR seized the house of Danielle's mother didn't rise from documented legal filings. It spread through repetition, translation gaps, and algorithm-driven amplification. In high-stakes K-pop disputes like the conflict surrounding NewJeans, information moves across platforms in fragments. A legal term gets mistranslated, a headline gets simplified, and within hours it turns into a definitive fact in fan discussions. That process is well documented in digital media studies. Complex legal disputes are especially vulnerable because most audiences don't read primary court documents, they rely on summaries. When those summaries are incomplete or emotionally framed, the narrative shifts quickly. In this case, the real, verified conflict involving Minji and HYBE Corporation already carried high tension, creative control, corporate governance, and contract disputes involving one of K-pop's most commercially impactful groups since 2022. Add a globally recognized member like Danielle Marsh, and the story gains instant emotional gravity. That's exactly the kind of environment where misinformation thrives. Social media algorithms prioritize engagement, not accuracy. A claim like "family home seized" triggers outrage, sympathy, and rapid sharing, far more than a legally precise but less dramatic explanation of injunction proceedings. Once that claim is repeated across languages, Korean to English to Indonesian and beyond, subtle differences in legal terminology can disappear entirely. What started as speculation or misunderstanding becomes, through sheer volume, something that feels confirmed. But repetition is not verification. In fact, the more a claim circulates without credible sourcing, the more it reveals a lack of substantiated origin. Reputable reporting on this dispute has consistently focused on contracts, management authority, and corporate conflict, not personal asset confiscation involving family members. That absence is the key fact. It doesn't prove nothing is happening. It proves that the specific viral claim lacks evidence. And in an industry where public image, fan trust, and legal clarity are tightly connected, unchecked misinformation doesn't just mislead, it actively reshapes perception. The reality here is less dramatic, but more important. A complex legal battle is being overshadowed by a narrative that hasn't been proven. And once you see how fast that transformation happens, the real takeaway becomes clear. Sometimes the most viral version of a story is the least reliable one.